quarter, and because it's Adam Jones from the Sports Hub and Chuck McKinney from Reds Army, we have another blowout, Chuck. It is another fourth quarter blowout with the Celtics. They are up 87-68 as we head to the fourth against the Miami Heat at TD Garden. Celtics looking for their fourth win in a row, and we will take you all the way through until the final whistle. If you want to get in touch, you can chat on FanCred, or what we really want to encourage tonight, I want to make sure we get the fan line going. It's in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. I don't know if we need to start doing, Felger and Maz level bets or something like that to get people to call into the fan line. I don't want to go there quite yet, Chuck, but if we need to start getting apparatuses and paraphernalia to get people to call into the fan line, it's not beneath me. Celtics are up 20-plus again, Chuck, right around there. What's the big takeaway tonight so far?
Well, two things. First off, I believe I sent out a tweet saying that the lead would be Celtics would be leading by 18 when we started this, and I'm up by 1 point. So I make sure that's acknowledged. And two, we need the second unit, right? So the first unit has been very strong. Kyrie's been excellent. Tatum, Horford. But the reason why this isn't a 30-point game is because of the second unit, that Hayward, Brown, Rozier group that often has a hard time scoring baskets, struggled. So if they can carry it over for another 5 minutes, I feel like the Heat, who looked like they wanted to quit 6 minutes into this game, should be ready to pack it in. So let's just see if that second unit can get a little momentum, and then we'll have an easy final quarter.
Well, and look, when's their next game? They don't play till Wednesday, the Celtics, so it's not like you need to get a breather for Kyrie or anything like that. But the way he's been playing over the 3 games coming into tonight, the way he closed the first half again tonight, it would be nice to kind of keep him on ice, right? Even if he makes another cameo appearance, it'd be nice, I'd agree with you, if the second unit can put this away, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Same goes for Horford. You wouldn't want to see him, right? I mean, any minutes that can be preserved are good. And then it's also a matter of building for that second unit. So, Rozier's had a few decent games in a row. We want to keep the progression, right? We want to keep, seeing him build confidence, be more productive. To have the second unit kind of revert back again, I don't think is helpful to the big picture.
Yeah, look, you want to get that second unit going, and you and I have talked about the starting lineup versus the second unit and whether or not they need to make a change. As Aaron Baines keeps blocking everything in sight to start the fourth quarter.
He's been ridiculous since coming back. I mean, he's just fantastic.
Can you answer this for me? Arcand asked me a good question. We were sitting upstairs just doing the halftime over on the radio, and is there a thing with Baines that everybody tries to dunk on him? That sounds vaguely familiar, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Is there a thing out there where people just try to dunk on him?
I don't think it's a thing in that we've seen some players try it, and it's really because Baines is fearless. He tries. I think
is that it, or is it he's trying to block everything, or is he shit talking or something? What is it?
No, I think he's also a good positional defender, so he'll just go straight up and try to block it where other guys might try to duck out when they shouldn't. So I think he's just a prideful defender, and that's in part. And plus, I think he likes that. I think it has taken on a little bit of a thing here where Baines knows that guys are coming after him, and he's not going to back down. I mean, look at him. He's going to keep challenging those shots.
I mean, you got a ponytail flowing like that, or whatever he calls that thing, a man bun type ponytail. I don't even know what to call it. When you got that going on, then you're in business. As the Celtics have pushed their lead up to 22 here, about a minute into the fourth quarter. And breaking news, you know what we have, Chuck? You know what we have? I begged for it, and it looks like we do have someone on the fan line, upper right-hand corner of your screen. Matthew in Newton wants to weigh in on the Celtics. Why don't you go ahead, Matthew?
Hey, guys. I was just wondering if you have any thoughts about why this team seems to play so much better at home than on the road, and why they have so much more energy when they're at home.
What do you think, Chuck? Home versus road, the split.
I think in the history of basketball, teams have played better at home than on the road. So I don't think it's actually that big of a surprise. Normally, when you have elite teams, there's less of a disparity. So I guess I'll chalk it up to the younger guys. Still trying to feel comfortable on the road. But I mean, again, I don't want to make too big of a deal out of it because it happens to a lot of teams.
What do you think, Matthew? Do you have a thought on why?
You buy that?
I mean, I do think that younger teams tend to struggle with it. We see Philly struggling a lot on the road. But I also think that part of it is that the Garden's a really great atmosphere, and this Celtics team has always played better at home.
All right, well, Matthew, we appreciate you weighing in on the fan line. We will take more feedback all night long, all fourth quarter long on the fan line, upper right-hand corner of your screen. Isn't the home road thing more for the team last year? Like, I got that, Chuck, in the playoffs, like against Milwaukee, for instance, or Washington. Well, not even Washington the year before, I guess. They had Isaiah that year. Especially last year, that Bucks series, it's like it's Rozier, it's Jalen, it's Tatum. I kind of understood the home road split a little more than a team led by Kyrie and, veterans like Horford and Hayward. I feel like it's less of an excuse for this team this year.
Yeah, you're probably right with that. I can't put my finger on it other than they're just more comfortable. So, because I'm willing to bet the home road splits might not be that drastic for all the guys, not just the youngsters. I don't really have an answer for it. That's my response for a lot of the questions surrounding this team. I don't know how to answer it.
Look, if you would have told me in preseason that they were fifth place in the East, that'd be my answer to everything. Like I still don't fully comprehend how they're here. We have one question here on the chat that I want to get to quickly before expanding things a little bit here. Michael wants to know, you a fan of the early start time? What do you think of this 6 o'clock start? Independent of the holiday, obviously it's a great thing, to get the NBA and a full slate on Martin Luther King Day. What do you think about the 6 o'clock start?
I love it. I mean, I'm usually home by 6, and you're talking to someone who's usually up before 5 o'clock to get off to work and shuttle into Boston. So for me, I love it, but it doesn't always work. It doesn't always work for everybody. I prefer the 7 o'clock starts. It's those 8:15 tips on TNT that drive me nuts.
Yeah, I hear it. Look, as somebody who is a night owl and working at night, none of the start times really bother me all that much. I will say big win for the city of Boston today, though. 30 less minutes of Felger and Maz. So that was a win with pregame show starting at 5:30. On this game tonight, do you feel any differently about the way the Celtics played in Florida watching Miami now? Like, Miami's the one who started that 3-game losing streak. If I'm not mistaken, that was Jalen and Morris, right? The shoving match, that was in Miami, right? Yeah. Or was that the Orlando game? No, that was Miami. Then the next game was Kyrie complaining about the final shot. So does this change your perspective at all? Like, do you look back and get even more upset about the way they played in Florida and started that road trip? Actually, it was Miami cutting it down a little bit, down to 13 on a Tyler Johnson 3.
No, because I'm doing my best to refrain from getting it on the roller coaster, right? Normally, that's how I react. But I think with this team, I need to take a step back and just say it's been kind of an up and down first half of the season. So I'm not looking back saying, God damn it, that those 3 losses drive me crazy. I'm doing my best to look forward. I know that's anti-sports talk radio or probably even fourth quarter live here on FanCred.
Okay,
but I'm trying to find some inner peace here with this team.
Well, they're not making it easy on anyone to find any inner peace with the way they've been up and down. I know it makes me a bad guy, but yes, it's more annoying that this same Heat team that you're looking at, which we were talking about a little bit before we got started, they remind me of the Celtics before the Celtics actually had talent. Like they remind me the way they played, because Spoelstra gets them to play hard. There's no real standout talent. I mean, the Celtics had Isaiah, and I loved Isaiah. I'm not going to dump on Isaiah now that he's out of here. He's an all-NBA player, so the Heat don't have that kind of player, but the way that they have like an interchangeable switchability on defense, the way they don't really have a lot of high-end talent, but they hang with you and they fight with you. Watch them scrap for loose balls against the Celtics. This is one team that, they'll pull and rip loose balls away from Marcus Morris and Marcus Smart. They're just another team in the NBA that has some edge, and it reminds me of what the Celtics used to be. But they're clearly nothing special. And losing by them the way they lost to them in South Beach a couple of weeks ago or last week, whenever it was, it's a bad loss, and it got them going on a bad rut there. Yeah,
absolutely. So, plus they're still without Dragic, who is probably the best player.
Yep, and he's
out.
Yeah,
he's out when we had a tough loss. So it's not like we should be bragging about this win. But yeah, I see your point with them having some kind of gritty players. taking to the hoop, tough guys. They have a few dogs too, Whiteside. They have waiters, guys that, we didn't, see here in Boston. But for the most part, I agree with your point. I'm surprised we haven't seen Olynyk. He's making what, $12, $14 million, right? He's big signing a few years ago, and it looks like he's averaging, close to 10 points a game. I'm not sure what's going on down there.
Yeah, so I think it was Jason actually asked that on the chat about Olynyk and how much he makes. So you actually answered that for Jason. But I was listening to Grandy a little bit on the radio. I don't know how much they've detailed it on TV here tonight, but Spoelstra is notoriously fickle with his lineups, right? I know Derek Johnson's getting more minutes. He had been out of the lineup previously, so maybe Olynyk's the odd man out. I mean, Celtics fans should know he's capable of getting red hot. He's capable of giving us flashes here and there, but maybe they've just hit that point that we all hit with Olynyk, where it's just, okay, time to get away from him for a little bit, time to sit him down. Celtics fans should know that better than anybody.
Absolutely. That's a good sign right there, seeing Jaylen Brown take it to the hoop. Let's not sit back and try to launch threes. Let's keep this lead in the mid-teens and we'll be okay. And the defense.
So I know you want to get to Rozier and some of the impact he's made. I think that package of Rozier and Brown, when they've been checking into games and when they can make their presence felt defensively, whether it's first half, second half, what have you, they have been giving the Celtics a lift in this last little winning stretch for the Celtics. Not obviously when they were losing in Florida, but the roller coaster, the up and down with the Celtics. While it's up right now, those two specifically off the bench have been giving the Celtics quite a bit.
Absolutely. I mean, I love Jaylen. I think, again, he's been playing pretty well for the last month or 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. So there's some chatter about people being frustrated with Brown and moving him. I wouldn't, unless it's involving Anthony Davis. I want to give Brown a few more years to kind of find his rhythm. Rozier's obviously different. So the last couple games he's been playing a little better, right? So this morning, some of the stories were, Rozier is picking up, his defense is a little bit full court. He's ramping up his defense. His offensive numbers have been a little bit better. But I took a look at his game logs for for the season, and I challenge anyone to find any sort of rhythm to what he's put forth. I mean, it's usually like all or nothing, and then even when he has good games, his shooting percentage is awful. There's just no way you can look at it and say, oh, only if we do this with Rozier, he'll be a little bit better. So he remains that enigma. I'm not sure what to do with him, but I feel like if he can come in, play that defense, and then offensively, I think he just has to make better decisions, right? Don't throw any lob passes. We know we can't connect on those. Let's pull in transition, right? Just be a little better. And I think that the bar is that low for him. And then if he gives us that 10 points, 3-4 assists, 1-2 steals, I think we're good, right? I mean, that's enough?
I mean, look, that would be plenty for me. I've told you this. I've been going about this on the radio for a while now. To me, if they really hit a point where they feel like they need to make a change, he's the easy guy to change out. Swap him out, get him out of here. So if he's giving you what you just laid out, and if he's giving the Celtics energy off the bench, him and Brown, regardless of what it says in the box score, if they're coming in and setting the tone and changing games or turning games around a little bit, I'll take that. That's way more than they had gotten previously. Again, you can get in touch on the fan line. Upper right-hand corner of your screen is how you get in touch with Adam Jones from the Sports Hub and Chuck McKinney from Reds Army. Heat still kind of, sort of, not really hanging around. It's 99-85, midway through the fourth quarter here on Fourth Quarter Live on FanCred. Let's go back out to the fan line. Yes, that's right. Some old-fashioned begging has people calling in on the fan line, which we will take. We appreciate. Let's go to Robbie in the great state of Vermont. What's up, Robbie?
That's right. How's it going? I'm trying to figure out as I watch this game, at what point Brad Stevens is to question. We always hear, he's this great players coach that can manage every player, every style, everything. When can we start saying he has something to do with this?
What do you think, Chuck? Brad, I've asked you this before, Chuck. How much of it is on Brad?
Yeah. And I remember, I think it was a few weeks when we first started doing this, I gave Brad about 10% blame. And as the season progresses, and I feel like we're still treading water, I think you're going to have to give Brad a little more blame. But I'm nowhere, if you want to throw out a number and say, okay, what percentage? I'm up to about 20%. But
20%. He'd make it single digits, by the way, as that was Jones with another corner three. Robbie, can I ask you where you calling in from Vermont? Where are you in Vermont?
Burlington.
Burlington. Okay, I'm from Newport. I don't know if you knew that. I'm from Newport.
Ah, very nice.
Yes, Northeast Kingdom. It's very little travel. Very little travel.
Would you feel better if we were more critical?
I'll talk to you in the future.
No, I just wanted to ask him if would he feel better if we were just more critical of Brad, or does he, when you ask that question, what do you want? Do you want just more media criticism of Brad? Do you want him fired?
See him as an angel of this team for the past few years that has not been able to catch a single thing of blame. He's been the savior of the Celtics. I just think he needs a little more criticism than he's getting.
Okay. That's fair.
Is it? It doesn't seem like you think that's fair. It doesn't seem like you think that's fair.
Well, a little more criticism maybe this season. But again, as I watch Hayward he's still fumbling around sometimes. Hayward is still not consistent. And again, qualify that with, yes, I know he had a devastating injury last year, but Hayward's a big part of what they want to do. And they lost him for one whole year, and he's still not even maybe 2/3 of the player he used to be, right? Horford is getting a little bit older. So what exactly? I mean, you could look at Marcus Morris and say, "Wow, Brad, another example where Stevens is putting a guy in the right spot and getting the maximum out of him." Right? Baines, same thing. Look how well Baines has been playing. So we could point fingers at other areas, but I still see cases where Stevens should get credit.
Well, that's fair. How about some of the antics this year, right? And the Heat are pulling within 7, 3-possession game, almost 2-possession game. 5 minutes to go here after a couple of free throws from, I think that was Winslow, who just knocked those down. How about some of the antics though? You have Kyrie popping off, and I know he's apologized. You have the shoving match. You have even Smart the other night. Like, I think some of that ends up going on the coach as Kyrie takes a wild 3 there. I don't know about that 3, but that's another thing I would add. Some of the antics maybe can go there because that speaks to an unsettled locker room.
Yes, right. So that's fair. Especially with what we saw on the sideline between Brown and Morris.
Woo!
Jesus.
5 points. Timeout, Brad. 4:29 to go. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I don't like either of those shots. The shot that Kyrie took.
No.
And Kyrie's been red hot, so I get it. And when I say red hot, I don't even just mean tonight. I don't even know what he's shooting in the game tonight. Kyrie in this one tonight, 8 out of 16, roughly. So, look, he's making everything he's throwing up. I don't love the intent behind that shot from Kyrie, but I didn't love that from Waiters either. A little forced step back. Sometimes shooters shoot. Waiters made his, Irving didn't. So 5-point game.
Right. No, just to expound a little bit on Stevens. Irving, it's been his whole leadership thing has been this strange sort of journey where he's really talked it out with the media. And then the whole I had to call LeBron thing was like the distraction this team absolutely did not need. Right. So we're still clearly not past that. But yes, you're right. I mean, Stevens, head coach, he should have all that in order. But NBA, it's a little bit different, right? I mean, it's a players' league, no matter who the coach is. So, am I making excuses again for Brad? Did I just start out trying to criticize?
I don't think it's making excuses. It's hard to put your finger on because a lot of it's on the players. I would probably put more of it on Brad than you, but I don't think that's making excuses by any means. Robert points out on the app, and Robert is right. Chuck, I think this is the first time. This is the first time you and I have not worked a blowout. I think this is the 4th time we've worked together. There was one blowout Celtics loss, the Bucks game, right around Christmas, maybe right before Christmas, which the Celtics lost. And then we've had a couple of blowouts the other way. The Indy game, there were 1 million points in. The Mavs game, I think, the Celtics won big. So, hey, we might actually get to break down some actual basketball as we watch this game break down and not just garbage time basketball like Dirk in that Mavs game shooting up like 50 million shots at the end of the game. We might actually get to do some analysis here.
I don't want to be breaking down basketball against the Heat. This should be a 25-point lead.
That's fair.
18 to 19 to start the quarter. So clearly the reserves didn't do their job, which we were afraid of. And now, the starters are coming in, and I just hope Kyrie can pick up where he left off, or this game's going to be too close.
So I've asked you this before. At what point does it start to be, and maybe Kyrie already thinks it's that time with that last force shot, at what time is it Kyrie take overtime? We're about 5 minutes left in the game now. Is it now? Is it closer to like 2 minutes? Like when do we get that? And by the way, they have a great graphic on the screen right now on NBC Sports Boston. Starting lineup has severely outplayed Miami tonight.
Well, I mean, it's take overtime in that, he's going to have the ball, and what he decides to do with it. I mean, his assist totals have been strong this game and in the past week. So I trust him to make the right decision, whether it's a pull-up 27-footer or to find Horford on a lob. So the offense has to run through him every single possession.
Well, here it is. And he puts it down off the glass. So there you go. That was smart, though, running point. They moved Irving off the ball here, which, late in the game probably gets him some good looks.
And I'm pretty sure Brad probably drew it up that way. So credit to Stevens.
Plus for Brad. Let's write that down. Plus for Brad out of the timeout. I'll give you that. I was actually just going to ask you. It seems like maybe the Orlando game's sticking out in my head. There haven't been a lot of signature wizard of the grease board moments where he schemes something up on the sidelines this year, but I'll give him that one. That's a good play out of the timeout.
True. Yeah, and I think Kyrie takes some of that away because there's a lot of the Irving get up.
Right. When you can do that. When you can just give him the basketball, get the F out of the way, and go to the hoop. Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. Kyrie take overtime. Is it too early? And I guess I'm the idiot for even asking the question. No, it's probably too late.
But I like the way he's doing it. Right, he's getting to the rim. I mean, he's such a spectacular finisher that that's my preference to see him attack.
Yeah, instead of the force 3, go to the rim. I mean, I'm with you on that. So Celtics have it up to 9, 103-94. Where are you going here, Chuck? More Kyrie?
I thought they were going to bring Horford over for a little screen action, but now it's going to be Tatum forcing a long two.
This is going up. Yeah. Good board by Kyrie.
Oh.
What did they say? He stepped out of bounds?
Yeah. So I think that set, I'm not sure. It looked like it took a while to get Smart. Oh, this is the previous play. I think they were going to have Horford come over and help set a screen. And I'd like to see that. But everything took too long to develop there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think from the other side now. Like if you're Spoelstra, who are you drawing anything up for? I mean, Waiters might be their best. He might be their best one-on-one scorer, but like this is what I have at least the Celtics had Isaiah. Like, and again, Isaiah was an All-NBA player. Maybe he was a perfect fit in the system, and they used him perfectly. Was he really a top 10 player in the league? Maybe not. He had a top 10 season.
Yeah.
But that's what Miami misses compared to those. That's where my analogy falls apart. They don't have a go-to guy. It's Bam Adebayo is who they're giving it to.
Right. And I didn't see the foul call there, so it looks like, I guess the Celtics are over the limit because it wasn't a shooting foul. So,
no, I didn't think so. So 1 out of 2 there for Adebayo. So still an 8-point game. 103-95, under 3 minutes to go. And look, when Kyrie's had the basketball, like this whole entire winning streak, good things tend to happen. So Kyrie gonna get to the rim again.
That was. It looked like they were playing for the pick and pop with Horford, and Miami just foolishly played the pop.
I think he's the best finisher at the rim in the league. Any side. I mean, maybe him or like Giannis. I mean, I should rephrase. He's the best finisher at the rim for a guard in the league. I mean, Giannis is probably better, but for a guard, the English he puts on it, the way he's able to finish in traffic is just the body control. It's all unbelievable. Unbelievable.
See, he played the Horford on that. So, yeah, I mean, not to take anything away from Giannis. I mean, he's freak athleticism but Irving is more of a skill. He's just crafty, right? With the right hand, left hand, the angles he plays off the backboard. I mean, it's just like art instead of what we see from Giannis.
Yeah, which is like, I mean, it's still impressive, but right, it's more athletically, overpowering and just being a physical freak. By the way, I didn't know this, so they just put it on the screen. Kyrie has 7 steals, 26 points, 10 assists, 7 steals. So a big night out of Kyrie yet again. as the Celtics look to make it 4 in a row. We have a question here on the chat. Michael wants to know about Hayward not finishing games. Is that a disappointment that he's not closing out this game?
Yes. I think everything we've seen out of Hayward from this point forward is disappointment. And I'm always called out for being too critical of Hayward because of the injury. But here we are. It's freaking January.
Don't listen to those people. The injury's old news. He's back. He's playing. Right? He's healthy enough to put up 30 points against Minnesota. Don't worry about those people. Don't worry about the injury anymore.
Right? So he needs to be more consistent. Anything, he doesn't have to. He's not a 30-point a game scorer on this team, but he's got to be. We've talked about this. 12, 14 points, leading the bench scoring.
Yeah, it's just not consistent enough. He still doesn't have a 20-point game against any team not named Minnesota. Oh, I'll tell you what. Winslow's had some of those nice lob plays going to Whiteside or whoever that was, Adebayo that time. Sorry, he had a nice lob to Whiteside earlier. Can you believe?
Yeah, I didn't know Winslow was a point guard.
Well, I think he has been with Dragic out, right? I mean, he's been running the offense, but it's amazing that Danny offered 4 first-rounders for that guy.
I know. So that's what I always think when I watch him. I want to see a player who's worth 4 first-round, draft picks, even if they're like mid to late, and I still don't see it.
No, I liked him at Duke. This is embarrassing to say, but you want to know who I saw a little of his game at? At Duke. I thought he was a little Harden-esque at Duke, and I obviously am way off on that, but that's what I thought. I loved Winslow in that draft. I was like, Danny, give up 4. I would have done the 4 first-round picks. So, that's a lucky one for Danny that the Heat didn't want to play ball. 6-point game, 105-99, 90 seconds left. Real run here? Is this a real thing to take seriously? 2-point game or 2-possession game?
Yes. We're like one Waiters 3-pointer away from this being.
Al turnover. Trying to get Kyrie backdoor. Waiters, open 3. Okay.
See?
Okay. He makes your heart stop a little bit because that guy will gun.
Absolutely. Let's just get us.
That's open. Who was that?
Smart.
That was Marcus? I mean, it's an open look. Yeah. I don't know if you needed to rush it, but it's an open look.
Yeah, I mean, he's been shooting so well from 3 that I don't want to second guess him.
What was on the shot clock there? Brian on the chat says, "Why did Smart take that shot?" It seemed like there was a lot of time on the shot clock, right? Like you could have run a lot more.
My guess of what it was down to like 12 or 14, so there was plenty of time. But I think that's a shot they want.
Even under a minute left, when you can run more clock. I mean, I agree in the normal context of a game, and it was wide open, and that would have been a dagger if he hits it. But
yeah,
I mean, it's not going to matter. Morris knocking down some free throws here, so Celtics extending their lead, but
I'd say that's a questionable shot.
I think that's fair. So we got 8-point game if Morris hits this, and he does. So 107-99. Spoelstra's going to call a timeout here, talk things over. 47 seconds left. I would say a little progress for us here, Chuck. A little bit of progress. We got a little action on the fan line. We actually got a good old-fashioned close basketball game tonight, which I would say is a good thing. I want to take the timeout as an opportunity to let the people know. Follow Chuck from Red's Army on FanCred. Follow me here on FanCred. That'll let you know when we're doing some upcoming broadcasts. There is, I think, going to be a broadcast on Saturday night. I personally can't do that Warriors game, but I think there will be a broadcast on Saturday, so check for that. And a week from Wednesday, I will certainly be on. I don't want to speak for you, Chuck, but a week from Wednesday against Charlotte, I think we can plan on that game as well. So those are some of the housekeeping issues here for other fourth quarter lives coming up.
Yeah, I'll be here for Golden State if we end up doing that, and same for Charlotte. And those should be pretty good games, obviously with the Warriors, but Charlotte's a decent team. So this is there was still a little bit of in the final minute here. We had the turnover by Horford and that semi-questionable shot selection from Smart. So it wasn't exaczly like
I'd call it a shart. That's okay to call that a shart. That shot selection. I think it's a good way to refer to it. Yeah.
We didn't exactly.
I agree. It was a shart from the corner from Smart. I agree with that, actually.
We didn't exactly slam the door shut on these guys, but it seems like we're gonna walk away with the win. Again, as long as Waiters is out there, he can still chuck threes with the best of them. So
yeah, remember the game? The Heat ended their 16 gamer last year, right? That was Miami, and that was Waiters who was right in the middle of that, if memory serves.
Maybe.
I mean, he's still up there chucking. That should do the game, though. That should do it.
So was Wade on the floor at all in this last 6 minutes?
Oh, actually, great thing, because there's only 30 seconds left. Celtics are going to win this. Quick response. How'd you feel about Wade getting a nice cheer when he entered the game?
I mean, I couldn't believe it, first off, and I wonder if it's a different crowd, holiday, early start.
People forget about Rondo? What the hell?
More kids, more families here, and I think it's more of, they just applaud him because he's a Hall of Fame player.
I hated that. Never forget what he did to Rondo. He is a dirty-ass player. He's an enemy. He is an enemy. As the Celtics win this one, 107-99. Chuck, you are good for Saturday. Check for details if we have the broadcast. Follow Chuck McKenney on FanCred. Follow Adam Jones here on FanCred. And for sure, Chuck and I will be back on Wednesday against Charlotte. Again, check for details on Saturday night against Golden State. 4 in a row for the Celtics. Thanks for joining us here on Fourth Quarter Live.
Yeah, baby.